The Identity Stolen project was originally started in March of 2018. The goal of this project is to illustrate the effect of stigma associated with mental illness. It is broken down into 4 phases to illustrate what each person's experience is with these individual viewpoints. In the first phase, you see the person as they see themselves. This is just who they are. When we're born, we're all given a name, and that in and of itself is a label. And part of the reason that I want to bring this up is that labels in and of themselves are not the issue. It's the way that they are applied and the way that they impact how a person sees themselves and how others see them as well. The next series of photos is designed to illustrate the impact of illness. What happens to a person when they first receive the diagnosis of a mental illness, how that affects them, and how they feel that people now view them, especially people in the clinical setting. Personally, what I have experienced is that oftentimes I am no longer simply Heather. I am now viewed solely based on my diagnosis and what the clinician has their preconceived notion of what that looks like. The next series of photos is designed to illustrate how we feel that society views us. Whether it's the slang that is used, the insults and slurs that have been forced upon us once people found out that we had a mental illness, or perhaps just because of our odd behaviors and quirks that they don't approve of. It also is an illustration of some of the negative self-talk that becomes a part of our identity after constantly feeling like we're not good enough. Now, while I can't speak for everyone, these images illustrate how they felt, and the words that are written on their labels were written by the individual. I did not assign them. This was a completely self-directed project. In this final series of photos, the idea was to illustrate the impact of the stigma that is portrayed by the media, whether it's through popular TV shows or the news. In particular, this was started shortly after the Parkland school shooting back in February of 2018. And my personal frustration of how often the media portrays somebody with a mental illness as being a danger to society, exhibiting attention-seeking behavior. As you will notice if you look at these last few photos, everyone has a piece of duct tape over their mouth. This was to illustrate what each individual felt like stole their voice. It feels wrong to say I hope you enjoyed viewing these photos, but what I do hope is that they will spark a conversation and perhaps help illustrate what the people in these images, myself included, feel like when people talk negatively about mental illness and the stigma that is surrounding it. Depending on the statistics that you look at, either 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 adults will experience a diagnosable mental illness. We need to do better, and we need to talk about it out in the open so that we can reduce the stigma and fear so that more people will be willing and able to go seek treatment when they need it.